Hi, Soul Whispers here. Today I thought that we could just have a hangout session. I was gonna light a candle and do a seed packet and then maybe read you a poem. Does that sound good? Good. Okay. So first we're gonna light the candle. And then I have this little seed packet that it's rosemary. That's what we could do. Apologize if you guys can hear my air conditioner. It's very hot here where I live, so I can't turn it off. We'll just put that dirt in the pot here. So it's in there. And it came with little stickers. They're cute. I got this from Target. And this is the seeds. The rosemary. Let's see if I kill these. There's little seeds in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. So I will pour those onto that dirt and fill it with water. It has instructions, it looks like it says. So these are the instructions. It says, dissolve growing medium pellet in 5 tablespoons of water, fluff with fork, and place into pot. Use sowing info below to determine how deep to plant your seeds. Sow seeds and lightly cover with growing medium. So that's the dirt. And then place in a bright, warm, bright location. So we will do that. some water. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it said 5 tablespoons and fluff with fork. Kind of looks like a muddy mess of coffee. Might drain some of this water actually. Looks like it might be dissolving. Let's see. Okay, I think we're good. And it says for rosemary, you do surface. So you don't even have to bury them, you just put it right on top. Okay, so that is what we will do. I wonder if I should drain a little bit. You guys can't see really. I'll just try it. Okay, here it goes. Okay, and there's our rosemary. We'll put it in the windowsill. Check back on it, and it says 7 to 14 days. See if it starts growing. Okay, and then I have this book of poetry that it's old. It's called 101 Famous Poems. It's made out of a leather, I believe. And it's texturized. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's got like a picture on it. And it was published in 1928, so it's almost 100 years old. I love books, especially old books. Like it says, it has 101 poems. And I picked one out. It's one I'm very familiar with, and I'm sure Maybe a lot of you are. It's probably one you read in high school. It's called The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. And then I'll go ahead and read it to you guys. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortals ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" Then I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore!" Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, something louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely, that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven, of the saintly days of yore. "Not the least obeisance," said he. Not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon the bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be short and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore." Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutorian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on that placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, but their friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking that this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking nevermore. Thus I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if with the distant Aden it shall clasp a saint and maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore? Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and thy night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of what lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak out of my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws the shadow on the floor. And my soul, from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. And that's it. Thank you all for hanging out with me, doing some planting and reading. I shall see you next time. Blow out my candle. Thanks.